Hello and welcome. This is Formula E. We're here for round 2 for the Malaysian ePrix at the Putrajaya circuit just underneath the Prime Minister's office around these streets of this old Malaysian city. 7 drivers enter Group A in qualifying. Should be an absolute cracker. We did our pre-season test race here in Putrajaya, so the drivers do know a little bit about this circuit already in terms of what should be expected, what the strategies will be, and what you need to look out for. Particularly this hairpin could prove absolutely lethal for our drivers in the race today. It's my honour to be joined by one of the great commentators of the 2D world, Mr. Kubenstein.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Sexy Digger provisional poll. Reminder for those who haven't watched a Formula E qualifying session before, the top 2 drivers from each group in qualifying will go through to the Super Pole shootout. Here, drivers get 3 laps to set their time, and the top 2 from the groups go to a 2-lap race combined together to decide who gets the top 4 positions on the grid in which order, and who gets that critical 3 points for pole position. Gwetsley comes across the line here. He does improve and he goes top, tied with Kraft. That's really interesting. A tied fastest lap in this group as it stands. Sexy Digger in third. What you're really looking at there is the second to third place gap. You've got some great contenders in here. I think all of the current top 4 are really strong candidates for the Super Pole, and they're all pretty much in there within a few tenths. Cubs, who do you think is going to get it, the final 2?
I think Kraft, I think Sexy Digger might be able to pull something off there, but Gwetsley doesn't look bad with that time.
He doesn't
Bad with
indeed.
Kraft.
Sexy Digger goes above, and Kraft is out in the groups. Andries improves, Bubbles improves. It's a triple Dutch last in the group. But Kraft was not able to sufficiently improve, and the Virgin Racing team, who are so far clear in the constructors after just a single race, will see one of their cars knocked out in the group stages. That is a surprise. Wow, wow, wow. Here we are for Group B of this Formula E qualifying session. We've had 7 drivers set their times already, to some surprises as well. We have Kraft out in the group stage. Sexy Digger through. We've got our Group A drivers having already completed their laps and secured their qualifying rows in here for a little bit of a chat, but they're going to stop that. Yeah, it was a surprise to see Kraft out with Sexy Digger through. Gwetsley also doing very well. He was able to just improve by half a tenth at the end. That saw him go through to the Super Pole session. Really interesting group with this one. We have Jaruni, of course, one of the league organisers, but also a very fast racer in his own right, along with, I stole these words, Minardi and Corvid, who are our top 3 in time trial. And look at those times. Incredible from I stole these words. 32.48 is really quite something. Right out the gates.
Time trial.
The time trial, and I'm glad you asked, was something which I'll tell you in about a minute. But that's really pretty incredible lap time there. He is half a second clear of Corvid. The fastest time is a 31.80. Isto's time there would put him just about 4th place in the time trial leaderboards. Corvid has closed in a little bit though with that 32.67 lap time. He's not too far off. Minardi with the 32.78. They are in their own right 1.6 seconds clear of the rest of the group, so not much competition there between the top and the bottom half of the group, but certainly for these top 3 drivers, this is their final chance, their final corner to absolutely nail. Does Corv get it right? He hits the wall. I don't think he'll improve. I stole these words. Doesn't improve. I don't think any of them have. All will, and it will be I stole these words and Corvid going through to the Super Pole. Minardi out. Go on.
Skip, Stoll has hit the same exact time 3 laps in a row.
Did he actually?
He did.
That is statistically improbable. Wow.
That is what happened.
That is wild.
That is what I saw. I'm not sure. Stolly, maybe he can confirm if he was looking at.
So it lit up green with 32.48 every single lap.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Wow. What a consistent driver we have. He's taken the fastest time in Group B. He'll go through to Super Pole, and I believe that will be with the fastest overall time, seeing him on pole position as well for that Super Pole race. What an incredible qualifying performance there. But Minardi and Kraft will start each from the third row. Who'll start ahead of who? Well, that'll be decided in Super Pole. Here we are for the Super Pole. 4 drivers, 2 top of each group. We're underway. It's a slower start from Corvid. Sexy Digger closes in. Gwetsley there as well in the background. There's no collisions in this race, so it is a pure pace sprint to the line over the course of 2 laps to see which of these drivers will take which positions. It decides the top 4 starters as well as pole position, worth 3 points for yourself and for your team. Isto falls into second place there. Sexy Digger just getting a better line than Gwetzi, but Gwetzi gets a far better exit there. We're just about to finish the first lap. Good exits down the straight from Isto and Corvid, less so from the 2 behind who were in Group B. Cubs, what do you think?
They're driving.
Sexy Digger and Gwetsley still close together here, as are Isto and Corvid. Sexy Digger getting a really nice little exit out of the right-hander, but he looks like he will be firmly on for third place. Isto really looking at making it pole position here. If he can manage it, he gets a good exit out of the hairpin. Needs to nail the final corner, and he does! I think Corvid must have hit the wall, because he took a completely different line, and I stole these words at the final corner. Stole that pole position. Brilliant driving from the Brit, and this carries on his perfect record so far of picking up every single point possible in this Formula E League. What a start for him. Corvid in second place, that's where he'll start on the grid. Sexy Digger ahead of Gwetsley. Wow, fantastic laps from our drivers. That was indeed exactly the order in which they set their lap times in the groups combined together, so there was no change from their starting positions on the Super Bowl grid to their final ones at the end of it. Your starting grid today. I stole these words, winning the Super Bowl race, starts from pole position. Corvid starts on the front row alongside him. Then it's our next group, Sexy Digger and Gwetsley on the second row. Minardi starts ahead of Kraft, both qualified P3 in their respective groups. Both will start on the third row. Same for Jaruni and Gorlomi, 7th and 8th for them. Andres starts ahead of Matimar, who is promoted, and all the drivers below him, with Lobster dropping out of the race. Bubbles will start ahead of Priya, and then Anti coming in at the last minute, or the Anti-Eurist, as they are known, will start 13th and last. Team Renault, with no car starting inside the top 10, your commentary team will back up the order in the medical cars. We are ready to get going here in Putrajaya. Here we go then. We have 25 laps ahead of us of racing. It's the Putrajaya ePrix, hosted in the heart of the old Malay city. Our 13 drivers line up. We're underway, and immediately it looks like Nico Minardi is out, off the grid. He's had a problem. An immediate crash there. Corvid and Sexy Digger 3 wide in the background. Jaruni and Gorlomi and Kraft on the outside. Looks in a very precarious situation. Nico Minardi is out and confused. His car is not going. Priya and Anti are our final 2 on the racetrack. They are 11th and 12th positions. Andres, then Bubbles, Matimar in there and through to the hairpin they go. It's a big stoppage. A lot of cars piling up there. It looked like Matty was at the head of that train. The others ahead look to have made it through more cleanly. Kubo, could you let Nico know that he's crashed out? The race has started. Isto, then Corvid behind. That is such bad luck for Minardi. He crashed out in a very literal way of the first race in Beijing. And unfortunately, it looks like a similar fate has befallen him here in Putrajaya. He is cursed at the start of this Formula E season. That's so sad to see. Gorlomi and Gwetsley, side by side, go the trolley cars. A big, big pack in the background. Andres comes off way worse out of all of that. Well, I thought he did. Oh my gosh. Mother Mary. He's just drifted sideways down the main straight, Jeff. I'm not sure what to say. Uh,
Oh, I
Anti
missed that.
crawling in the background. That was quite something. This, meanwhile, is our lead pack. It's I Saw These Words, it's Corvid, and it's Gwetsley. Still pretty much in the order they
Oh,
were in, no longer. From that Super Pole race, now Gorlomi has gotten through in the Trilly car. The Trilly car's having a good start to the
oh.
season. Sexy Digger forced wide, but he does get a better exit. I think Gorlomi's
Ooh.
allowed him the position somewhat. He's going to go back up the inside into the final corner. They're looking to just work together from here on in. Otherwise, they will be struggling even more. Kubo, your thoughts on that start?
Things happened, and man, that was crazy, I think.
What a race start that was.
Poor Nico, bro.
Poor Nico. I feel so bad. He's been on such good form in time trial. But
I
unfortunately...
don't think. I think Anti may have like a very close zoom or something, because he's struggling a lot.
Yes.
What's happened to Corvid?
Corvid has dropped back, it seems, on the HUD.
Checkpoint issue.
Yeah.
HUD issue. Okay, it's back to normal.
Not yet for
Oh,
me, but I
nice
hope
little lag.
does get him back up. Yes. So, well, we think Corvid's actually in second place. It is Sexy Digger right behind Gwetsley. He's in a bit of a Trulli sandwich. And Gorlomi up the inside. That's a nice little move from the Italian on the Latvian. Can he make it stick? He can't. Sexy Digger gets that better exit. But right into that final corner. Goes very deep. Tries to squeeze Andres to the inside. But the pace of the cars going down the main straight here in Putrajaya. That is... Wow, he's jumping around a little bit. But that is really...
Oh, they're like. This is amazing.
What's this? Oh, look, he's just gone backwards. It's Andres and Kraft now putting him under pressure. Kraft really punished by that low starting position. 6th place only for him. And so he hasn't been able to stick in that front pack where his teammate is and where he honestly should be in this race, where he's shown the pace to be, if not for that 3rd place in the group. Missing out on Super Pole. It's a cluster of cars? Through the final corner, Sexy Digger with a decent exit side by side. They go through turns 1 and 2. Sexy Digger needs to just lift off a little bit there. Andres up the inside into the right-hander. He goes. Can he make this stick on Sexy Digger? He's really going to fight it. He leaves the Latvian racing room. They both go side by side through this next series of corners. This is an amazing race from the both of them. Can they resolve it by the time they get to the hairpin? Sexy Digger pulls ahead. Andres is into the wall, but they do make it through. Side by side, still they go. Can they finish the lap off? Just like this. No, Andres hits the wall on the inside. What excellent racing from the two drivers. That is truly wonderful to see. Also wonderful to see is Corbett back in the position he actually is in. What's happened?
Kraft into the wall. Not sure if he was forced. There's lag, so yeah, he smashed into the wall. He's now side by side back fighting with Sexy.
Look at him go. Oh, look, switchback from Sexy Digger. He does get a really good run out the hairpin. Kraft is just going to let this one go into the follow. No, Sexy Digger hits the wall. Oh dear, I don't think he was even squeezed by Kraft there. I think he's just experiencing a couple difficulties. We've now got the cars a little bit more spaced out. We'll do a rundown from the top to the bottom.
Kraft just hit the wall by himself, looks like.
Oh
and
dear.
Got 6Y back on his back.
Maybe he's deliberately slowed down for a bit of sportsmanship, allow the racing to reopen up. We have quite a clearly established order at the front 3. It's I Stole These Words ahead of Corvid, then Gwetsley, then Gorlomi. Quite a few seconds separating each of these drivers, particularly Corvid down to Gwetsley. Go on, Cubs.
Is this the state of netcode at the current moment?
I hope not. I think this is difficult. I Stole These Words comes up to lap Anti, if we believe that to be Anti, which I hope it is. Anti might still be in the running for some points here if we get a couple rage quits. We got 3 last time out in Beijing. Fewer today, hopefully. But you never know. Still, 5 seconds between the top. We've got not very close racing up at the top of the field. The drivers just spreading out a little bit of a concertina effect as they come through that hairpin, but it's going to be closer between Priya and Matimar now. Dutch versus Polish. This fight goes down the main straight. Can Priya try and craft a move into that right-hander of turn 3? She's going to have a little look here. Matti does slow down before the corner, as you're normally supposed to. Priya makes the right hand next there. Can't quite find an opening. She's getting pretty close to the back of that Mahindra. Can she finally make a move? We'll have to wait and see. We're getting into the
Mahindra.
pit window. The Matindra, yes. Um,
Matindra. Matindra.
oh no, Jeru in the other Mahindra will not be laughing. He tries to, as we've seen a lot of drivers do so far today, skim it a bit too close to that final corner. Hits the
He's
wall.
what?
Andres goes straight
Oh
through.
no.
Oh dear, he slowed down again. Matty's right on the back of him as well.
I think Matty got slowed down by him as well.
He's getting his elbows out a little bit. I'm not sure Trixie will be too comfortable watching his drivers in this close proximity with quite a lot on the line in terms of points here. Andrews.
It's that Wednesday night. Gorlomi is in, and so is Mart into the pits, and so are the Mahindras.
The Mahindra's double stacking here quite intensely. Yes, Gorlomi, Mart, Matti, Jaruni, Priya, Bubbles, all in. So is I Stole These Words, who is a lap up on these drivers. So he is in on what is the 13th lap of the race for him. It's the 12th lap of the race for the others.
Staying out.
He is. He's gonna
staying out. I'm not sure if he forgot or if he's feeling a little risky today.
Lap 14 is quite a long time to stretch it. That's really interesting. So a lot of these drivers are in on lap 12. That's Wetzley, Kraft.
With that extra advantage.
It might pay it back late in the race, but it's difficult to tell. You've got lap 13, Wetzley, Kraft, Sexy Digger all in. Gorlomi has completed lap 13, coming down the main straight, and he will coast back through and actually right up to the back of his teammate. So that undercut looks to have worked not too poorly for him. The anti-Urus is still not into pit lane. He completes his 14th lap now, and he actually does overtake Sexy Digger for position. It's P6 now for him. He does have to run a second hard stint, but it will be enjoyable seeing how far he can run this one into the ground, maybe cause a little bit of chaos in the order without too much putting people in the walls. Regardless,
is there rain in this?
There is no rain. Oh dear, we're having a little bit of lag.
That is based.
Yes, no rain, which is something enjoyed by quite a few. But yes, it's all about the lap. Oh, Jeru quite hard into the wall there. I think he experiencing a little bit of netcode. Yes, no rain in these races. It's all about the lap in which you pit. Of course, Formula E Generation 1, you have to change over your car in the pit stop, and that is the extreme time loss that you do suffer. I Stole These Words coming up to lap Priya here. She in P11, he in P1.
Oh, the Trulies are fighting.
Look at them go. Wetzley on the inside, Gorlomi on the outside. Gorlomi, the full-time driver. Wetzley stepping in from the Virgin team. Actually, a position ahead of one of their main drivers at the moment. Can he make a move up the inside? Sexy Digger has had enough. And for the second race running, Sexy Digger is out of contention. A rage quit with a similarly foul-tempered language to what we saw in Beijing. And he is out. That promotes Priya into the points for the time being. It will be interesting seeing who gets these points. Antti finally in on his 15th lap of running. I believe that is Gorlomi coming down the main straight. Just a couple laps ahead of... Oh no, only a lap ahead of the anti-Urist. I Stole These Words with a domineering lead out ahead, 9 seconds to Corvid, who himself has 9 seconds to Wetzley, who has his teammate right up his chuff. Look at this podium. This is going to be pretty intense, this fight between the Trulli cars. They've had a great start to the season, but they can't go tripping over each other now. This is a really important few points for them to take. Guetzi will care less, obviously, not actually being a full-time driver for the team, only standing in for this race. Gorlomi gets a poor exit out of that final corner. Any squabbling here may well cost them positions to Kraft, who very much could pick up that podium if these cars and these drivers cannot get themselves in order. Gorlomi needs good pace here. We'll do a tyre check now. I Stole These Words. Tyres...
Bloody hell, he's 16 seconds ahead of Corvid. 17.
I think Corvid's slowing down to join that fight. I have no actual reasoning for thinking that. Maybe he is just slower. But he shouldn't be. He's 5 seconds slower than his PB on that last lap.
38.75.
I have reason to suspect he is... having a bit of a cruise. Gorlomi, I think, has had some sort of issue going through turns 1 and 2 there. He is way behind Kraft now, who must have tried to make that overtake on him. And to poor effect for the poor Italian involved. That is Unfortunate for him, Andres, Matti, Jaruni, the Mahindras very much back in the points running now that Sexy Digger is out of the race. Bubbles and Priya in it. The anti-Euro is 13 seconds off her in 10th place. Surely this will be a point for the Audi reserve driver who signed for them just a few days ago. I believe Corvid has slowed down further. Actually, no, he's had a pretty good lap on that last lap, but he is still only a couple seconds ahead of Gwetzley. I don't really doubt too much that this is a deliberate slow. But maybe he's just trying to keep Gwetzley at arm's length, give him something to chase after, really. Nevertheless, it is Gorlomi's drop back. It is Kraft and Gwetzley who are now looking in those good positions for a podium, third and fourth. Looking at these tyres. Go on.
Could we potentially get the same podium as in the Beijing opener if Kraft gets to overtake Gwetzley, that is?
We would. We'd also get the same top four with Gwetzley in fourth place. He was racing as a reserve. Well, he was racing independently, actually, in that race. He is racing as a reserve for a team today, as we only had 13 starters in the 14 seats. But, yes, Gwetzley here in third position for the Trulli team, looking to take their first ever podium in, I nearly said Ultimate Virtual, in Formula E. Corvid has slowed considerably. I believe that is somewhat of an artificial gap closing that gives Gwetzley all the more motivation to run onwards. That might even be somewhat of a tactic. If Corvid is willing to help Gwetzley out, because you're right in saying that if Kraft does overtake, that is once again a double virgin podium. Two virgins standing on the podium in Kraft, and I stole these words.
Yeah, it's quite smart. He's looking to try and
give him a slipstream.
Gwetzley's slipstream.
Ooh. Fascinating strategy from Jaruni. He's going for fastest lap. This is very interesting. This, dear viewer, is a nuance in the rule. So what it states is that drivers must run 2 sets of hard compound tyre. That has been completed by every driver apart from Nico Minardi, who stalled on the grid. Jaruni is taking advantage of some pretty large gaps behind to slap on a set of soft compound tyres in an attempt to take the fastest lap of the race, which will also give you 2 points. And that is potentially quite large if he can reclaim 9th or 8th position, which is currently a good few seconds off, actually. Sort of 7 seconds away. He's not got that many laps to do it because he was running in 8th or 9th position, a little bit behind teammate Matimar. Definitely an interesting strategy. I maybe think that he's gone for a slightly unserious approach, not trying to maximise points, instead trying to maximise a bit of late race drama, but still a great thing to see. This does promote the anti-Eurus into the points for the time being. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll also keep an eye on Corvid versus Gwetzley. Maybe Corvid really did have an issue. That is possible, or maybe he slowed down to give Gwetzley the slipstream that will take him away from Kraft. Both are possible. These drivers on very old hards. Corvid did pit that lap later. He went to lap 14. I stole these words. Has won dominantly here in Putrajaya. A fantastic performance from the man. He has the fastest lap for now. Great race from him, and he has won by a very long way. 18 seconds to Corvid in second. Gwetzley will take the first ever podium for the Trulli team, the reserve driver there. Kraft will take fourth, and it's another great finish for Trulli. 5th place for them. Andretti and Andres in his debut in the league takes 6th place. It's Matimar in 7th. Bubbles, Priya, the anti-Eurus trying to fend off Jaruni here at all costs. We'll keep an eye on that as much as we can. They have to try and get to the end of this lap. It surely will be Bubbles ahead of Priya. Surely can Jeru get himself up into the points? He's been sandwiched into the wall, but given the racing room on the exit, and he will get 10th place in the end, and he will take that off the anti-Eurist. 10th, but not fastest lap for Jaruni. He didn't quite manage to do that.
What just happened?
I have no idea.
He's been classified 100th ahead.
Ah! That is interesting.
Singular 100th.
Well, we'll go with the race results screen then. After 14 minutes, 26 seconds, and 42 hundredths of racing, I stole these words once again takes a full Grand Slam sweep here in Putrajaya. Excellent racing from the Briton on the British team. Corvid will take second. Gwetzley gives Trulli their first podium, only a few tenths behind the Australian in the end. It's a great day for Trulli. It's a great day for Andretti. They both have cars on the podium and have cars in the top 6 as well. Kraf in there for the Virgin Team 2, who come out by far on top today. Matti Martic 7th in the Mahindra. It could have been a 7-8 for them. Girini decides to risk it with the late pit stop and doesn't even climb back into the points. He will score nothing here today as the anti-Urus is classified in 10th. Priya takes her first points in the league and Audi points in 9th place. Great to see that. Girini takes 11th. Then we have the DNF of Sexy Digger and the DNS of Nico Minardi, as well as Lobster and other teams not being able to field drivers. Oh no, it was actually just Dragon. So Lobster not being able to be here due to connection issues after qualifying. He is also classified as a DNS. Well, Kubo, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, they like raced around the track.
They sure did. I mean, it was pretty entertaining actually, some of the scraps there for the podium for the final points.
Yeah, it was. I'm very interested in what happened with Corvid. If that was like if he had an issue he had to deal with.
He can tell us himself. Corvid, I invite you to the stage. We'll get you on just before Isto, our race winner. What happened?
I had a suspension error going into turn 2 on right after the pit lap, and yeah, the car just struggled afterwards. I was also copying a lot of stutters in general through the race, especially through the second half, which really didn't help. But yeah, I'm still happy. I was able to barely get second in the end, which shouldn't have happened, but at least we got the points.
So it was a genuine issue, not a deliberate drop back.
Yeah.
Wow. So well done for hanging on to second place in the end. P2, pretty good.
It's alright. I'm just not keen with Mr. You Know What doing all this at the front. But we'll have better chances to grab him next few rounds, I'm sure.
We'll chat to him now. I stole these words. 18 seconds, fastest lap, led every lap, fastest in time trial, fastest in the groups, and you took Super Pole. And the fastest lap in that as well.
They should call him I stole these points.
I made that joke already. Yeah, go on.
Fuck.
Well, it could have been a very different race had Corvid not hit the wall on the last lap of Super Pole. So you know that would have been a very different race and a much more exciting race to watch, I imagine.
Was it pretty boring for you out in the lead?
To be honest, after lap 1, it was alright. I'm not sure if I hit Corvid into the hairpin on the first lap just with the trailer, because it was. I saw him hit the entry to the hairpin, so I'm not sure if I caused that. So I apologise if I did. But it was so tight in that hairpin on the first lap. I was really fearing what might happen. So glad I kind of qualified up where I did. But yeah, I don't know. I can't believe I hit the time I hit, like the 32.48 on hards. Don't really know how that happened.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I was hitting like 32.7s maybe in practice, but yeah, nowhere near that. So I don't know where that came from. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, everything was pretty straightforward. And then I sort of noticed Corvid drop back, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, he just sort of explained it, didn't he? That he had a bit of an issue, so that made it sort of less. He didn't need to focus as much in the second half of the race, given that he was dropping back towards Squetsley.
Can anyone stop you this season?
I mean, depends if Corvid definitely can. Corvid is very quick, and I think some of the tracks coming up definitely suit him better than they do me. And you shall see how that goes. And if he hadn't had his issue today, he would have been a lot closer than what it ended up being as well, because he is very quick, and I think I fear him more than anybody else on the grid in terms of race pace and just consistency, and the likelihood of taking points off me as well. With Super Pole, he was right there. He would have got that time were it not for the wall on the last corner. So.
Well, I think that does extend you to a healthy 28-point gap, 66 to Corvid's 38 in the championship. So I can only congratulate you on that. We will also next go to Gorlomi. If you want to give an interview, I'd be absolutely honoured. It was P3. It was that for the Trulli team, and we'll have both the Trulli drivers if we can, Gwetsley as well.
He doesn't want.
Oh, he doesn't want. Oh, okay, we'll go to Gwetsley then.
Let's go.
P3 for you, mate. P5
Yeah,
for Gorlomi.
Very good.
Great performance
Yeah,
for the Trullis.
We had a big fight with Sexy in the beginning, but we made good teamwork progress on him, and we got rid of him, and it was really amazing.
When you say got rid of him, do you mean forced him to rage quit or gapped him on the track?
No, I could gap him, and Gorlomi immediately pressured him again from behind, and so he couldn't really pressure me that good, and therefore made mistakes because he was always pressured. And yeah, we had good teamwork, which was really nice. And my third podium in F1, so
Yeah, your first podium.
nice.
I mean, there's now going to be links of you signing full-time for one of these teams, because surely nobody can resist the man who's finished top 4 twice as a reserve driver. Any team in particular you got your eye on?
No, not really.
I'm sure you'll get some calls from team owners pretty soon. Great race, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Finally, we'll go to Mart. It was your debut, P6,
Yes.
for your own team. Great race.
Thank you. Starting from P10, I knew I would have had some bad internet. Oh, I did the most of it. Best position was P5 in the race at the lap 3 or something. Last lap was on my screen it was very good. But on someone else's screen on Golomi it was not a position gain.
Right.
Or the reconstruction soon on what happened on my screen, so I don't have the recordings. But yeah, good race.
Yes.
Positions gained. Happy with that.
On the results screen, just behind Gorlomi in the end, but you gave him a proper good chase, and it looked like a good fight over P5 there, so well done.
Yeah.
That is all for today. It's been an interesting second round of this championship at the Putrajaya circuit, and it'll go down in the history books as a dominant win for I Stole These Words. We race in Punta del Este next week, the fast-flowing chicanery circuit down under in, well, Uruguay actually, and that should be a really fascinating one to watch.
Yeah, I should say perfectly named. Hope to see some punning.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe not, but you never know. We'll see you then. Until then, bye-bye.